Thank you very much. Mr. Gosling, if you don't mind me coming right back to you for the next question again. Are you in favor of Medicaid expansion in Idaho?
We have an obligation to provide health care for all of our citizens. Currently, the estimate is between 51,000 and 78,000 men and women in that gap with children. I would like to see us first determine what are those people. I understand as a veteran, there are a number of veterans in that gap. What are we doing? When I knock doors, I find a veteran, I ask them, do you understand your rights and your benefits? And most of them don't. So there's some ways that we can educate people in it, but I really feel that we need to close that gap, and Medicare is the best way to do it.
Thank you.
My ideas on healthcare is personal responsibility and lifestyle choices and making different ways that we live, and funding a monopoly in healthcare which has many good benefits, but it's not the only option. And I want to see alternatives. I want to see an end to the allopathic pharmaceutical monopoly and have the many other health practitioners have a fair shake and a fair deal operating in a free market. And in paying a tax to an insurance company, which is a corporation, to support other great corporations and monopolies is not something I'm in favor of. And I would like to see a wide open free market for alternative healthcare options and for people just plain assuming responsibility for your own health.
Thank you.
This is a subject that's near and dear to my heart, and Representative Christy Perry's in the audience. And 2 years ago, she and I signed a letter that said we would not support any legislation or budget for the Health and Welfare Department until we had a resolution to the gap population. And I was taken to task by Director Armstrong that didn't help the Department of Health and Welfare, and so Christy and Representative Packer and I kind of changed our tactics. I don't think it's fair that these folks are being left out, and I think we need to do what's fair. I wasn't a big supporter of the Affordable Care Act, and I still don't know that that's the best way to provide care to our citizens, but since that's what we have, I think we need to make it fair and right, and right now it's not.
Thank you.
Folks, our welfare system empowers the state. It does not empower the individual Idaho citizen. We need to switch that concept to a program that empowers the person, not the state. And the way you do that is you get people educated, you give people jobs, and they have to do that on their own, but the state can assist. And then they stand on their own two financial legs and they take their rightful place in society. This might sound cruel, but it's the absolute truth. No one has a right to health care under the Constitution. It is a product in our system. Like it or not, that's the way it is. You have to buy it, which means you have to pay for it. The welfare program we have right now is really doing an injustice to the people who are taking the welfare because they never seem to get off of it. It's not sustainable. And it also increases federal control of the state of Idaho because those dollars for welfare, most of them are federal and they have strings attached.
Thank you very much, Mr. Constable.
Well, yes, I definitely support Medicaid expansion for the state of Idaho. It's not a perfect solution, but it's a whole lot better than what we have now. It's a partnership between the federal government, the state government, and individuals. And it takes the onus of the indigent fund off our local counties. So my answer is definitely yes, I support it.
Thank you.
So I certainly support Medicaid expansion, and I've been working hard with the Medicaid expansion groups to get the signatures put together to get that on the ballot. And I think we're very close to being able to do that, so all of us as citizens can vote in November on that. You know, the legislature has been sitting on this for 6 years. This year they couldn't even pass a bill to even debate it. Yet year in, year out, 70+% of the people in our state support Medicaid expansion. So I support that. It's certainly only the beginning. The cost curve on healthcare is quite steep, and we need to find ways to work on that. And the folks that are in the exchange population that are making too much money to get subsidies are really getting squeezed right now. And one of the waivers that the state was working on this year would have really helped that by cutting everybody's premiums by about 20%.
Thank you.
I believe in Medicaid expansion. I know what happens when people don't have insurance. They don't go to the doctor, and then it is a crisis. At that point, when they go to the hospital, that rural hospital, and probably even Moscow's, eats the bill. And if not, it digs into your indigent fund in your county, which can usually be eaten up within the first few months of the year. This bill wasn't perfect that we tried to get to the floor. None of them are. And it didn't cover all 78,000. It only covered about 30,000, but it was a start. And Carolyn's right. There were people from both sides of the aisle that did speak to this, and it didn't happen, and it was really hard to accept. That's one of the reasons I want to go back. I want to be there the day that it does.
Thank you.
I support Medicaid expansion. There's two sides to this, though. The folks who need the coverage, but also the providers. The reimbursement to the providers is not where it should be, and that's one of the reasons why providers aren't necessarily in favor of Medicaid expansion. I just spoke with one of my customers today, or yesterday. He said they get less money for reimbursement on tubal ligation of a person. It costs more to get your dog spayed. And there's something wrong with that. $67 for tubal ligation, $200 and some to have my dog spayed. So there's two sides to that. Yes, we've got to help these people that are in the gap, but we also need to support the providers through reasonable reimbursement rates.
Thank you very much. Ms. Sorensen.
Oh yes, I am in favor of Medicaid expansion, and here are some more reasons for this. I mean, one thing is, and this is very pragmatic, we've had a brain drain of workers to adjacent states, especially Washington, and they have a better system of supporting healthcare there, and people are migrating there for that, people who would be in the gap population. I think the grassroots approach that Reclaim Idaho has taken is excellent, and we are only 1,000 signatures away, the last time I looked, from getting this on the ballot. It's kind of thrilling that the legislature has failed so far, but that the people are succeeding. Also, the federal aspect of this, we are paying for this, and it's coming out of our income taxes, it's coming out of the deductions from our paychecks, and that money should be coming back to us right here in Idaho. It should not be going to people in New York or Ohio, because that's where it's going. It's still getting spent, but it's not getting spent.
Thank you very much.